Hello, this is Zara here speaking. I'm here to present my assessment to assessment for the game that I've created. As you can see here, this is my interface that I have been working on for the past couple of weeks. So on the hierarchy side of this is all of the game objects that I've created, such as the player, the ground, the coin, the windscreen, which is a UI element, and of course the score bar. Okay, so on the assets, as you can see here, there are multiple folders that I've created, such as the animation, the pixelated adventures, the scenes, the scripts, and of course the text mosh that I've created. Now I'm just going to take you through my script that I've created here. I'll start with the play controller, which is the most complicated one that I wrote and the most work I've put in, because it has a lot more to do in there. So as you can see here, I've created multiple different I believe they're called classes, Unity engines, such as the Unity engine, the Unity engine UI, which is for the image, and of course the Unity Tempro, which is of course the text message for the UWin will show up. Other than that, then I've created different classes. This is where the classes come through. So the first part is regarding the player jump and the player upwards and stuff. The next part is regarding the player keeping track of the collected coins. The next part is regarding the player of the score bar, the score bar, and of course the maximum value, which is 100 points. The next part is the windscreen that I worked on. So this is regarding, so the windscreen shows up and so it shows up when it needs to show up and doesn't show up when it's not needed. So such as once the player reaches the 100 points, that's when it will show up. Next part is regarding the player's speed and the jumps force, so how high can they jump, and of course the speed, and of course making sure that the ground is collision, so the ground is there. Next part is regarding the add score part. So this is where the player will be collecting score and will be working on adding score. Give me 1 moment, I'm not sure. There we go. So this is so the player knows when to proceed with adding score and when to stop once it reaches the 100 points. And this is where, of course, the score bar will keep on filling. Next part is the UWin screen. So it will only show once the player has reached and hit the 100 points. It will not show if it doesn't do it. So it only shows when the player has hit that point. And then this is where the current score will be showing. So this is when the actual score will be kept on tracking to make sure they print the current score for the console. This is regarding the animation, of course, the collider, the trigger box that it has, the player has on them. And again, the windscreen again. So making sure it's coded so that it doesn't show at the start. It only shows when it's needed to be seen. Next part of this is again regarding the player's jump movements and vertical, like going up and down the X and Y axis. This is of course regarding the vectors, making sure it meets the vectors and the thing that we already advised them. So they will only follow the vectors that was provided at the earlier stage. The next part is regarding keeping the player within the bounds of the camera, as you can see. So advised that it needs to be where it needs to be. So where the camera is showing, that's the only place the player will stay. It won't go out of the screen. The next part is regarding the jump force. So making sure that the player jumps harder when the coin is harder to reach than the normal speed. I'll quickly show that later to you once I play the game, so you see exactly what I mean by that. And then the next part is regarding the jump, the actual jump, setting the jump direction to ground so the player's on the ground, so making sure the player's on the ground before it jumps, so it doesn't jump in the middle of the air. Next part is the animation part, so making sure the right animation is being played, such as if the player is jumping, it has the jumping animation going, and if it's running, it has the running animation going. And that's where the ideals were created earlier. I followed the steps in class. That's when you were creating it, so I just followed the same steps on that part. And then the box cast was so that we know the player's grounded using the box cast. So just making sure that they are tracked at all points, so making sure the player is not on a random part of the screen. Now the game manager, so this is very basic. I've only focused on adding the audio clips and the audio source. So as you can see here, this is basically keeps all the audio, like the audio that we added. So I downloaded from the folder that you provided to us, and I've just used those as audios in the game. So some public classes I created here, so it keeps the arrays to hold the different coin sounds. It also making sure that the right sound is being played, not the right sound, but it goes through the random 3 sounds, so that once the player hits the coin sound effects takes place. But again, so it uses the SFX player, so I tagged it so that it follows that tag as well, as you said in class, so it follows that step for you. The next part is the making sure that the ad score is sorted. So I added this here as well because I think it was one of the workbooks that it told us to add it in the game manager. That's why I added there. And of course I debug as well, so making sure that it logs the current score. And the last part, again, the method to play the clips as per the game manager audio source. So in the game manager audio source, there's multiple, the 3 audios are there, so it plays the right one and chooses the right one. The last part is the coin. So this is the coin one. So this is regarding the coin sound effects. So basically says here arrays to hold different coin sound effects. This will be assigned to the inspector to play the random sound when the coin is being collected. This part is regarding finding the player controller and the game manager instance in the scene. So I've tagged them to each, so basically I tag the player to the player, the game manager to the manager, to make sure that the right things are being collected and sorted. This is part of the rigger body, not the rigger body, the trigger, so the collider basically. So this is making sure that the coin only responds to the player and not to anything else in the game world, not the ground, not the random camera side, so only the player. So that's why I've done that. And of course it has 25 points, so each coin has 25 points. And again, it plays a sound effect as well. And that's basically it. Of course, the last part, sorry. This is regarding making sure that the coin moves and goes to a new random position within the camera bounds, and so we can destroy the coin. So it doesn't randomly show somewhere that it shouldn't show up. So that's what I basically did. I've used very similar coding. So similar code from so it doesn't go out of the camera bounds. However, I've added, like, for example, the float new random range, so shows within the random range. So that's basically my project for this time. What I'll do is I'll quickly show you I will also show you the actual game just really quickly here. And that's where the you win screen will show. The you win screen will come over there. And that's it. Thank you for listening to my project today. I hope that I explained everything well. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Thank you.